Back at it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Back at it. It's Cooking with Dave again today. I'm sorry. We're going to probably have some more interesting streams coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to get a bit retro, but today, I'm sorry, I have a burden. I've got to get more paper ready for our printers. After a 2-week gap, there's no way. They've chewed up most of what I prepared before I left. So today, it's another sizing day. We're just finishing off the cooking. Let me turn around the camera. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I've been warming it up. In fact, the water is now boiling, so we're ready almost. This is the alum going into the boiling water. I started the actual cooking process about 15 minutes ago. We have a lot of paper to chew through today, so I wanted to get this ready as soon as possible. There was no leftover size in the fridge, of course. Before I left, I used up everything we had, and there's no way I'm going to leave size mix in the fridge for 2 weeks and then come back and use it again. So we cleared it out before I left, and now we're making a fresh new batch. Today it's 3 liters and there's 45 grams of glue per liter. And then the alum is 17.5% of the weight of the glue. Almost ready. Temperature today, well, let me get the camera turned around. One sec. Here's our setup. The paper is under here at the moment. I keep the paper at this end of the bench. The paper is underneath there. The glue is going to go in here in a couple of seconds. And at the moment, we're keeping the board warm. The table is being warmed up. There's a hot carpet on the table. I'll do the sizing here, but let's keep this warm for a few minutes. The temperature today is not so bad. What is it, 12 or something? We've seen the worst of it now, I think. We'll be coming out of it bit by bit. Playing with fonts this morning. Sheets, there are 25 sheets cut in half, giving me 50. This is why I wanted to get going early. I don't really know. When we have 30 or 35 or 40, I think I can get it done and we get a show and tell. Today there's 50 sheets. I haven't prepared, well, we have something we could show if we run out of time. The camera is panning right, it says. I think I locked it there. I think we're okay at the moment. Yeah, I think it's locked now. It's okay. See how much of it we can spill today. I think last time I spilled a whole bunch of it, but let's see. Oh, we're okay. Yeah, someone said Boston getting your first real winter. I've been seeing the weather reports from across North America. It's been nuts. Over in Vancouver, I was there for 2 weeks. The first week was clear blue skies, cold, leftover snow on the ground. I myself didn't see any snow happening. And then for the last week, while I've been there, it's been warmer and wet, the usual typical Vancouver weather. Okay, give a couple of minutes for the brush to soften up, and then we'll get going. Good to be back. Paper is not out. There's no dots on the board today here for yesterday and today. Today is a national holiday. Actually, yesterday was the holiday. Today is the day, what do you call it, when they bump the holiday back because it was a Sunday. So there are no printers here today, nor were there yesterday, according to the panel here. But it could be simply because I've been away, they've got in the habit of not bothering to put their schedule on here because there's been no one here to take paper out. And maybe they didn't know I was coming back for today. So it's possible we'll see some printers come up the stairs, find their paper frozen. I don't know. If they don't tell me, I can't take it out. It's the Emperor's birthday. It was the Emperor's birthday yesterday. And Japan is struggling with this. I know they've had, like, emperors have been changing fairly frequently in the last while. Well, fairly frequently compared to all through the 20th century. And they're struggling with the idea of what to do. Do you move the emperor's birthday to a different part of the year when the emperor changes, or do you just leave it in the same place? And they've been moving it around. When I first came to Japan, it was the Showa emperor. It was his birthday. I forget what part of the year it was. When he passed away, they kept that holiday and they opened a new emperor's birthday holiday. It was in December for the guy who then became the emperor. He retired 7 or 8 years ago. They took away his holiday and made a new one for the current emperor. They're scrambling to figure out how to do this. So my idea would be to do it like they do with the British and just stick it on one day and don't bother what the day the real birthday is. It's like Christmas, you know. Oh, that brush is hard. It's going to take us a couple of minutes for this to warm up, soften up, sorry. Someone says they should move the celebration to match each emperor. That really doesn't work. The last guy, for example, his birthday was December 23rd. So like you move the holiday right next to another holiday. It doesn't really work like that. Someone's asking, what do I think of the new Yokozuna? You're asking the wrong guy. I'm sorry. I'm not hip to sumo news. I'm sorry. Is that a suggestion that we should have a national holiday for the new Yokozunas? I don't know. How was Canada? It was, you know. I was there for 2 weeks, and these days for me visiting Canada, it's really not like a whole lot of fun. I was there for 2 weeks, and most of the time, of course, I was with my mom, and she's in a nursing home, and she can't really do much stuff anymore. And she's sort of in the worst possible situation. She knows who she is, she knows who's around her, she knows where she is, but she can't do stuff anymore. She can't do her knitting because her coordination just doesn't work much anymore. She can't read books because she can't sort of see and focus and concentrate on it. So she's not really so happy. If she's happy I'm there, she recognizes me. So all we can really do, my brother's there pretty much every day. I'm there now and then. My sister's there. And we just sit and sort of comfort her with our presence. But there's nothing we can really do. She can't sit there and have a long conversation and chat about the old days. This is really hard. My God, I'm sorry. I should have softened this up before we started then. It'll come. It'll come. Give it a minute. So it's a difficult time. No audiobooks, just she'd be asleep in a few minutes, or just nothing. Just something, I'm sorry. We've tried it all, of course. We tried books. We tried reading to her. We tried audiobooks. The TV is there. We put it on. She likes watching mysteries. Stuff like, what's it called? The one Simon was playing for her recently. Midsummer Murders or something like this. She likes it. She recognizes it's coming on and sits there and watches, but doesn't really follow much. So it's not a happy time. The rest of it, with my kids and my grandchildren, that's more happy, but those people are so freaking busy, they got no time for granddad. You know? Here we are, softening up now. Here we are, it's coming. So the holiday for me, you know, whatever, it's a break from the work. The idea was, yeah, while she's sitting watching TV, if I'm in the room, I could get some work done, is the sort of idea. But it's hard to wrap your head around it, you know. You can't sit there and do programming, and so I didn't really get any work done. Someone says there's a water bather under the metal pans. Yes, it's a heater. It's designed for a buffet. This would normally be soup, and this would be split into 4 groups with, you know, there's 2 of them here. The thing is a double unit. There's two units. At the moment, this one has nothing in it. It's just water. But there's 2. So it could be 1, 2. You can get units that split at 1, 2, 3, 4, or 8. It's designed for food service, of course. We're using it for different kind of service. It's electrically heated. It's not gas. Okay, we should be almost there. Yes, it's soft. Okay, thanks for your patience. Okay, the paper today. The paper today is new Murata paper. So you know then what print this must be for. Let's get some paper out of the heater here. So here's the deal. The sheets started like this. This was the original size of the paper. I cut it in half a few minutes ago. And this is 25 sheets. I've got 25 more, so we're going to do 50 sheets of this size. Each one makes 1, 2, 3, 4 prints. And this is for the candy store print. Have I given away a big secret? I don't know. I don't know what you've seen and what you haven't seen. Yeah, you've seen the print. You saw me do color separations. No secret there. You've seen that. Printing will start on the candy store print next week, and I got to get on it. Yes, it's difficult for me to remember what you've seen and what you haven't seen. I'm sorry. Of course, you saw color separation work on that. So if we're going to count, we're going to have 25 plus 25, 50 sheets. Vivid KP is saying, I'll be surprised when I get print 2. I don't think we've seen it here. Print 2, that's Galaxy. Nay. that was carved by Kawasaki-san, so you didn't see me carving it, and I didn't do any printing on it. The one with the drone, that's the candy store print. That's the 4th month. That's April. The giant cat print, that's April. Print number 2 is Galaxy. Print number 3, I don't know what you've seen. The Flooded City. Have you seen that? We've been pretty good at this, you know, giving you some surprises. The March print. Okay, let's roll. Whoever's going to count, you go ahead and do your counting. As I said, 25 sheets, cut in half. Oh, I dripped. Not a great start. Boom. Update for Murata-san. While I was away, Murata-san, I heard from her that she is busy now. She has been for the past couple of weeks. She's busy on the manufacture of the next batch of paper. You remember the day when I tried packing in various size boxes. We sent her 20 kilograms of kozo fiber, mulberry fiber. We packed it here on the stream. That paper, that fiber has all been boiled. All 20 kilograms of it has all been boiled and split into 2 groups. About 10 kilograms of it went into the fridge for temporary storage, and the next 10 kilograms of it has moved through to the next stages of production. All the bark has been picked off it. It's now been beaten, and as we speak, the lady is starting to form sheets of paper. And that will be for prints number 5, 6, and maybe 7 and 8. We'll see. I've had some feedback from the printers on the paper, on the Murata paper. We've now had, how many different printers? 1, 2, we've had 4 printers now work with this paper. Myself, Kubota-san, Ishikawa-san, she did the second batch of the February print, and Chiharu-san in Nagano, she's done the first batch of the Flooded City print. There's been good feedback from all 4 of us. And the feedback is that they love the paper. We all 4 of us, very happy with the paper. And people have the same sort of thing. They seem to feel this is a more feminine paper than the paper that we've been using from Iwano-san. It's softer, a bit more gentle. You have to be a bit careful with it. If you force it, it'll start to stick and feather up. It's not quite as inherently strong as the Iwano paper. This is not it's a bit different. We're not dissing it here. We're not saying it's no good for our use. Just simply the 2 side by side do have these little characteristics that are different. It's definitely softer. And part of it could be, remember, we're using a different kind of mulberry fiber. There's many, many factors that are different here. This is made with mulberry fiber from Oguni in Niigata, and our Iwano paper is made with mulberry fiber from the Nasu-Kogen area of Ibaraki Prefecture. That's one difference. Another difference is that our Iwano paper uses white clay as a filler. This has rice powder as a filler. Another difference is that the Iwano paper, we're not using it fresh from the drying boards. It sits here in some cases about 2 years, certainly 1 year, year and a half, 2 years sometimes. This paper is boom. It was only made a couple of months ago. A lot of our Iwano paper is made all year long in the summer. This paper has been made only so far in the winter. So it's crazy difficult to make direct comparisons between these two things. Then, of course, Iwano family has their way of boiling and rocking and picking. Murata-san has a very similar but slightly different way of boiling and rocking and picking. So there's no easy way for me to say it's different in such and such a way because of such and such. There are simply too many variables. And we've used this analogy before. It's the same thing. If you imagined a street in any town, any city, there's a bakery at one end of the street and a bakery, let's say, across the street. They get their delivery of flour. The water is there. One baker gets his flour, his water, his salt, his yeast, makes a loaf. Mr. Other baker does the same thing. Those two loaves of bread, made with exactly, quote unquote, exactly the same materials, are going to have very different characteristics. So it is with the washi paper. Someone's asking, is Echizen still snowed in? Yes, Sadako was up there. I think about 10 days ago, she was up there to do filming for me on Murata-san's work at picking the chiri. And she said Murata-san is spending a couple of hours each day minimum digging out before she can get into the place. They've had meters and meters of snow. Maybe I can, let's see, does this work if I copy this into chat? An email came in from Murata-san this morning. I don't know how well this will copy and paste into chat. Let's see, let's try this. This may or may not work. Let's see. Oh! This is from Murata-san just this morning. She got 3 snowmen's worth of snow. I don't know how literally to take the 3 snowmen, but yes. I mean, this is not unusual. That area is, it's part of what's known as, in general, Yukiguni, the snow country. The Japan Sea coast of Japan, the side that faces Korea and Asia. Anyway, actually, I got a bit sidetracked. I was telling you a few minutes ago the feedback from the printers on Murata-san's paper. And as part of this, as part of the fact that I said it's very gentle paper, it's soft paper, we got to treat it carefully, everybody has asked me, including me, Dave, a little bit stronger on the size, please. Because the paper is gentle, it's soft. So what I'm doing today, if you've compared our previous sizing streams with today, what I'm trying to do is this. In the brush, I'm trying to keep a good solid batch of liquid, not a good amount of liquid. And then here, I'm moving now here a little bit slower than you would have seen me done on this previous batch of paper. I'm trying to let it drain a little bit more. I'm trying to get this, what we would say, tappuri. Plenty of liquid in here. The previous groups, I sized it properly, but my brush moved faster than what I'm doing today, and the printers felt the paper was a bit too weak. Pull, pull, wipe off, get ready, and a bit more slowly and steadily than I would have done in the previous batch. Am I the only one doing sizing? No. These printers who work in the building here, Ishikawa-san, Rei-chan, Ayumi Ohashi, they do their own sizing now. Up till about a year ago, I did do all of our sizing. About that time, we realized that we'd better start distributing some of the work so that the other people in the company here can develop the skill. So the internal printers, the printers who work here, do their own now. I don't even get involved. But the outside printers, Kubota-san, Kawai-san, those three printers have no way of doing their own sizing. So this paper is probably going to go to Chiharu Kawai in Nagano Prefecture when we're ready with the blocks for the candy store. The block set's not quite finished yet. I'm just getting this done in advance of this. Because the rest of this week is going to be busy, busy, busy for Dave. Someone's saying, is it 20? I'm not counting. I hope you are. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Dave is 20. Dave does not want to be 20 again. Not at all. Is my hairline 20? The line might be 20, but not the amount of hair, that's for sure. Excuse me a sec here. Excuse me. Blow my nose, try and turn away from the system here, but the microphone's on my chest, so it doesn't make any difference. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. What can I do? Okay, here's the last sheet of the first batch. Remember, I told you I had 25 sheets, cut them in half to give 50. What did I do? 25, 25. what did I do? 25 sheets. Okay, yeah, okay, what it is. I know that should be either 24 or 26, because 25, I didn't, Murat Design gave me the paper split into different weights, 20.2 millimeters, 0.24 millimeters, and 0.26 millimeters. And this is a mix. I took 12 from one group and 13 from another group. So that could be 24, 12 plus 12. And this could be 26, 13 plus 13. I don't remember. You got 24. Okay, that's it. Then there's 26 left. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was the thicker, heavier group. This group now is slightly thinner. So I can actually back off a little bit on the amount of liquid here. Someone's asking, how was the trip? The trip was, I don't know, whatever, a family get-together, not a whole lot to report. Most of the time I spent with my mother in her nursing home, so there's certainly nothing to report there. I could tell as I sat there, you know, in the nursing room, get out of her room, sit in the hallway, watch the people walk back and forth. It really wasn't a very pleasant place to be. It's a pleasant home, nothing negative about the home. Lots of staff. It's about one staff to two patients. They don't call them patients, they call them residents. But one staff to two residents, lots of people, wonderful care. It's a clean place. The food is wonderful. I saw her dinner and like, I could eat this, you know. So a great place, but just it's a nursing home, you know. It's a nursing home. And every day I sat there in the chair watching the people go around. And you can't help think the obvious thing, you know. Is this my future? You know, you can't avoid that thought. You watch some lady shuffling down the corridor. She shuffles back, she shuffles down. And during the 2 weeks I'm there, I saw her do dozens of kilometers of going back and forth down the hallway. And you can't avoid the thought, you know, is this my future? You know, it wasn't for my dad. He went down hard fairly quickly over a period of a few months. My mother is in this, you know. She's very healthy. Her body is fine. She's 98 now. She could be there for a very, very long time, you know. Did anyone mistake me for a resident? Okay, you're fired. Where's the mods? Get rid of this guy. So, I felt this myself, you know. I sat in the chair. My mom goes to sleep. She has a nap. So my brother's there, you know, we chat for a bit. And then whatever, and I sat in the chair there, so I get up, I got to stretch, I can't sit still, I walk down the hallway, walk back, I walk down the hallway, walk back. I feel exactly like a resident, you know. I mean, it's a thing in the air. Those of us who are visiting, you know. So it really wasn't fun. I'm sorry, you know, it's what we got to do. The smaller amounts of time that I spent with my kids and their grandchildren, that was more fun. Yeah, this is somebody else. Son Albionis is mentioning too, were there residents younger than me? There were a number. And I can't say a lot. On the ward, how many rooms were there? 24 rooms. Half a dozen? 4, 5, 6 people. Easily younger than me. Easily. One guy. Most of the residents there are women in this nursing room. Most are women. There was a sprinkling of men, 3, 4, 5 men. And there's some younger than me, of course, you know. that be my future, or will I be like my dad, you know, going along very Genki until suddenly things start to go haywire and then everything explodes and a couple of months later he was dead, you know. Will that be my path, or will I be closer to my mother? Anyway, not a topic of conversation, sorry. But do I have a lot of things to report from the trip over there? No. I did get one on a Thursday night, last Thursday night, Vancouver time. My girls set it up. Their two relative husbands, Craig, my younger daughter's husband, and James, my older daughter's partner, they're hockey nuts. And of course, there was if any of you follow hockey, you'll know there was a massively interesting and exciting hockey event all during last week in North America. It was the All-Star break, and they had a wonderful, interesting idea of what to do this year instead of the typical All-Star game. And it was good fun. Those of you who know about hockey know about it. Well, Canada did win, but Hontoni, realistically speaking, that last game was anybody's game. It could have gone either way. There's no way that this was a demonstration of Canadian superiority. It could have gone either way. The result of that final game was whoever made to the second to the last mistake is the winner, you know. There was a bit of fighting, but I'm sorry that that became news, because overall, the last game especially, this was not one of those games that was simply, oh, I heard some hockey broke out at the fight last night. That's not the way it was at all. There was, of course, that incident of fighting, the first 9 seconds, blah, 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 blah. This is just intimidation at work. But the last game was nothing to do with that. The last game was amazing. Yeah, John, that 3-second thing, that wasn't typical. Come on, that wasn't typical. Tom 1060, are you remembering more than I remember again? Have we talked about that? We must have talked about that, right? Jeez, anything I say on these streams gets picked up years later. This stream here, the chat as a thing, has a memory that never forgets. When was that, Tom? When did we talk about that? Like 7 years ago? And you're remembering this? Chat never forgets. Tom is an elephant. The burden is on me, you know. What I could have done right now is said, hey, I remember back when I was a kid, we were watching hockey, and I can remember the Esso advertising and blah, 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 blah. You know, in other words, we fall into the same rut, and Dave tells the same story he told. Yeah. So, you got it. Here, Zaxter's got this. I said the exact same thing. June 17th at 10:41. Yeah. Whatever. You got to cut me some slack on this. I don't remember everything I said. Of course I can't, you know. And I'm a typical person in that you trigger with a certain thing, then I will have the same memory and I will maybe tell the same story, of course. This was Tom's way of heading me off so that I didn't tell the same story again. $34. Somebody's counting. I'm not counting. It doesn't matter for me. I counted when I cut the paper, but now it's just running around. So. Things here in Tokyo seem to have run very smoothly while I was away. I'm not a daily manager in the sense that I have to do things here every day, telling people what to do. All of our staff have their own jobs, their own setup, their own procedures. My function really in this company is a very, what was I going to say, higher level form of management. I choose this series we're going to do each year and, things like this, the hiring of people. But I'm not involved in the office here day after day after day. Everybody's got their jobs and they know what to do. It's a bit of a mix for me because I'm the owner manager, but I'm also a line worker, as you see today. This sizing is something the owner of the company shouldn't theoretically be doing. But at our size, because we're still a small company, we don't have individual workers for all of these different jobs. But all the other stuff that goes on, the order handling, the shipping, the reception of new prints, the shipping and packing, all that stuff, of course, is all done by specialized workers here. They're doing fine. They don't need me. But my plate is now pretty full for the next couple of weeks. My plate is pretty full with a bunch of stuff that I have been punting, that I've punted down the road. Jobs and decisions that have needed to be made that I have to quite an extent postponed a bit longer than they should have been postponed. So for the next week or so, Dave really has to put on his owner-manager hat a bit more seriously and get some important decisions made for our company here. Because for the last couple of years now, with the huge number of visitors coming in, we've been firefighting a huge amount. My job has been mostly firefighting. And because of that, I've ignored some major structural decisions that the company needs. We've talked about some of them, the printer training thing, the facilities here, how tight the shop is, how much we desperately need more space, And it's time for me to make some decisions and get going on some of those large projects. What was also fun about the trip to Canada is getting recognized over there, There was one day I was actually, it's a separate story. My older daughter, she put her foot down and sent me, with no uncertain language, she sent me to a shoe store. Not to buy shoes, but to get some sandals. She saw the things I was wearing on my feet and said, there's no wah, 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 wah. So she sent me to a shopping mall in downtown Vancouver. What's it called? I forget. This is a shopping mall. This is an Apple store in there. That's the mall with the Apple store. I forget what it's called. It's a 2 or 3 story mall, whatever. She said, here, you go there, second floor, this such and such a store. There's 2 shoe stores. You go in there and you get your yeah, Pacific Center. That sounds right. So my daughter sent me in there, and it's okay because it's near her workshop. The workshop where they do their jewelry making is in the Granville block, the VB block, the Vancouver block, literally across the street. So she sends me across the street to this shoe store place. It didn't work. But as I came out of the shoe store, it took me about 2 minutes in the shoe store before I realized that I did not want to be there and this wasn't going to be useful and whatever. But I couldn't go straight back to her workshop, after like 2 minutes, because she would have been upset. You didn't try. So I came out of the shoe store and I sat on the bench in the middle of the Pacific Center here, delaying how soon can I go back to her workshop, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. And I'm sitting there and somebody comes up, and it's funny, it always happens the same way. People will politely come up and they'll point and they'll say, and then they make a gesture like this, which means like printing. So people have remembered me. I know he's YouTube printmaking, and they make a gesture, but they can't remember my name. This is, you guys in the chat remember my name, but one of the millions of YouTube viewers doesn't necessarily remember my name. So the person comes up looking at me and they're making this gesture and then looking, and I stand up and he says, YouTube, you're the printmaker, right? And I'm, yeah, thank you for whatever. So, and this happened twice while I was there. Once in the Pacific Center, once at the airport. Actually, it's not you, the guy at the airport, the person who recognized me at the airport knew my name. So here we are, international rock star. People recognize me in airports. It's good fun. It's good fun. Anyway, the reason I didn't buy the sandals, she was sending me across to buy strap-on sandals. And she sent me into this shop, and yeah, there they were in the window of this shop. There was sandals, kind of like the ones I was using. The ones I was wearing were kind of beaten up, kind of broken. So I thought, okay, no problem. My daughter has found me a shop. I go in the shop, and the window, I couldn't reach the window, but I went down the wall, and there's some sandals on the wall. They're just exactly like the ones in the window, similar to what I was wearing. I thought, good, my daughter has sent me to a place. I pick up the sandal off the wall there. Looks like a nice sandal, and I turn it over and quickly put it back. And like this pair of sandals was $280. And I thought, Dave, the day that Dave buys a pair of sandals for $280 is the day when, like whatever, take me out behind the barn and shoot me because I don't have any common sense anymore. So I walk out of there. I'm not going to buy sandals for $280. This is Canadian dollars. It's funny money, but still, give me a break. Whatever, long story short, I didn't get them. I went back to her workshop. She says, got your new shoes? Let's see. I told her the story, and she's like, Dad. And she gave me this spiel, and it's a correct spiel. She said, look, you've been buying junk. You've been buying like $20 sandals, and they last a few months, and then you get another pair. Dad, just get the good ones. It's going to be the same amount of money. Instead of getting junk and keep throwing it away and getting more junk, buy a quality one and make it last. And she's sort of right. That's what I do with my computer. She's using a stupid little Dell laptop, and she was struggling with it because the hinge was broken and it wouldn't open. She's going to throw it away and buy a new computer. So I showed her, this is what you're doing with your stupid computers. Dave buys one. I got a nice MacBook Pro here, which is going to last me 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My last one lasted 10 years. So I get it. And she's right. Somebody's saying here, cheap is expensive. I get this. But my experience with that particular thing, sandals or whatever, they might last, but they won't last. What I mean is, when you walk, the heel gets a certain way. I spend so many times going around the same corner at the bottom of the stairs. The heel wears out on the right-hand side. They won't last all that long. Even though they were a higher quality, maybe they'll last twice as long as the junk pair I get for $20. They won't last 10 times as long. Absolutely, they won't. So she just sort of gives up and says, well, what are we going to do? And I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. I'll find some somewhere. Okay, we're on our last sheet of paper. Okay, I think we now have 50 sheets in this stack. It was 24 plus 26, I believe. We will really find out when it comes time to hang them up. Okay, it's flip time. Don't tell anybody where this plastic is stored. Somebody got 50, 24, and 26. That's what I think we've got. So let's see. Those are no slip. Okay, so there we have the paper flipped over. That's now sheet number 1, the back side, facing up to me. We'll move it over to the side. Put our board back in place. We don't need to clean it because the paper will fit in the same footprint. And we don't need to tape it down at the end because the moist paper will now stick to the board. And here we go. It's time for the back side. Same thing. We might use a little bit less liquid because the paper already has a pretty good amount of liquid inside it. Looks pretty good. Let's roll. No, I'm not going to ask for shoes. I did get shoes. To continue the story, my daughter was a little bit disappointed in me, a little bit. But whatever, I'm not going to do what she asked. So what she did was, she lives out in the valley. She lives up in Port Coquitlam, and her partner lives in Harrison Hot Springs. So she spends a lot of time driving up and down along the highway. And out near her home, there's a Walmart. So what she did was, thinking that Dad was just not going to get this done, rightly so, she stopped at, I think it was a Walmart, I'm not quite sure, a Walmart type of store. Maybe it was like Canadian Tire or something. I don't know. One of those gigantic Costco or, I don't know. She stopped at one of those gigantic department store places up where she was. And at that get-together we had for the hockey game on Thursday night, she showed up late, and she showed up with a bundle on her shoulder. And she had gone to one of these places, and she had bought 5 pairs of sandals. She took my size. She grabbed my shoe that I was wearing, took the size, and she went to that place, and she bought 5 different pairs of sandals. I'm like, what are you doing? You can't, what? She says, just pick the one you want, and I'll take the other ones back. I'm like, you can't do that to a shop. Just buy stuff knowing that you're going to take it back. And she says, okay, we do this all the time. Doesn't matter. Just pick what you want. I've had enough of this. Pick what you want, and I'll take the rest back. So at this point, I'm like, just doing what I'm told. And they were fine. They were absolutely fine. I look at the first one, and it's pretty much exactly like the same one I'm wearing. It's really fine. It costs like $19.95 Canadian. Dirt cheap. I don't know how long they're going to last. So we compromised. I accepted these, and I just told her, look, we tested them. They're all the same size. They all fit, different size. So I told her, let me pay for them, and I'll take them all. You don't have to go around there taking them back. And this one will do for 6 months, and then 6 months, and then 1 year and 1 year. And these 5 pairs will do me for the next few years, and we don't have to worry about this anymore. So she says, okay. she wouldn't accept any money from me. Your daughter is not going to say that. She's going to say, it's okay, Dad. They weren't honestly all that expensive. So Dave now has, I have enough sandals now to last me for the next few years. So. So it's fine. I'm happy. I'm happy my kids, are what can I say, trying to take care of me. I don't really feel that I need to be taken care of, but in this particular example, maybe I need to be taken care of. I don't know. They're good kids. They're good kids. She's a good girl. I have two kids. I have two daughters. They were born in 83 and 85. They were born in Canada, and we moved to Japan when they were, we moved there in 86. So we moved to Japan when they were 3 and 1, respectively. So most of their early memories are Japanese. They grew up in Japan daycare center, Japanese schools at the beginning. So they got a good grounding in Japanese society. The first 10 years plus of their lives were in Japan. Then when they were teenagers, they went back to Canada, picking up all the bad habits that Canadian teenagers pick up, whatever. So they're now about as bicultural as you can get, with a grounding in Japan and a teenage bunch of years and young adults and college and that sort of stuff in Canada. And they live in Canada by preference. They have dual nationality. They could live in Japan if they want, but they both prefer living in Canada. Yeah, my kids are a certain age, but that's not the big thing. The other thing is I have 4 grandchildren. I'm a grandfather 4 times over. And they tell me to start the countdown for becoming a great grandfather. No specific action on that front yet, but it looks quite possible. How old is the oldest grandchild? He's in college. He's graduated from high school. He's in college. I have a college-age grandson. That's how quickly the clock is ticking, He's going to what they call BCIT over there, British Columbia Institute, BCIT, technology place. And he's studying aircraft maintenance, specifically like engines, jet engines. He's really interested in jet engines and stuff. And he wants to do maintenance, whatever, design and et cetera, et cetera. He wants to do stuff with jet engines. So this is the first step for him. He's in the early stages. He's at the first step of college. I don't know what happens next. He gets a degree or something, or then goes for apprenticeships. I don't know his specific career path. But that's what he wants to do, is muck around with jet engines. If anything, if you're worried about that kid as far as job security, is AI going to take over jobs and stuff like this? I can't see the future, but I can't really imagine that AI is going to take over the job of designing and maintaining jet engines for us. That seems to me like a pretty good hands-on job. I could see technology as being a good assistant to people there, but I think as far as you could future-proof a job, AI will replace Japanese printmakers before it replaces jet engine manufacturers. Perhaps, I guess. How's our time? 9 o'clock. I'd better get boogieing here. If I've been too lazy, I'm sorry. There's definitely going to be no show and tell today, if some of you are waiting for that. If I'm still halfway through the backside, only at 9 o'clock, we've got to hang 25 of them. I'm sorry, I must have chatted too much. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. The youngest kids, I know the grandchildren are, what are they now? They're going to be 18, 16, 7 and 4, I think. I think that's the count. 18, 16, 7, 4 are the ages. Boy, boy, girl, boy. A bit too much there, Dave, be careful. Someone says, when do I switch over from the winter sizing to the summer sizing? There's no single point there. We adjust the recipe bit by bit by bit as the temperature changes. There's no one point. It's not one versus the other. I'm using 45 grams per liter right now with 17.5% weight of alum. And as the temperature starts to rise in the spring, I will increase that 45. I'll push it to 50, to 55, perhaps to 60 as the paper gets softer, as the weather gets warmer. So it's not a single switch. So it says about halfway to go. Seems so. I don't know. Not quite halfway, I think. I must have been really slow through the first section there. I'm sorry. I thought we were going to easily wrap this up because I got started straight away. Hoop, boop, 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 boop. Someone's asking about headphones. I did get some headphones. I picked some up. I think some people suggested this. I picked some up at the airport. Not the best, cheapest place to buy your electronics. But I did. I found a decent pair at the airport. I got there early enough. There was time to sit there and relax. There's a bunch of electronic shops there. After going through security. Did I get that last reference about we're halfway there? I don't know. Did I get that reference? I'm sorry, I don't know. Somebody singing a song halfway there. No, I'm sorry. Over my head, whatever it was. So I grabbed a pair at one of the shops post, after the security. I got a pair. I should have got the number for you. I'm sorry. If you remind me when I'm downstairs, they're a JBL pair, not top of the line. Not the smallest ones. I wanted some that fit over my ears. They had some that go against your ears. I got ones that cover. JBL. I don't remember the model number. It might have had a 200 in it. I don't remember. And they worked nice. They worked nice. They had a demo pair standing on a hook, so I put the demo pair on, switched it on. No music, but instantly the room became silent. And I got to tell you, they worked. I didn't listen to music much, actually. I just put the headphones on the plane, put them on. They paired with my laptop, but I didn't play much music. And it was just in, just like you're supposed to do. So I'm very happy. I mean, it might be an insult to the company to buy headphones just for silencing, and not for music, but to me it's somebody saying it's magic, and it is magic. I get it, phase cancellation. I sort of intellectually understand how it works, but to make it actually work in practice, wow. I mean, I can imagine myself working for an audio company decades ago or something, and somebody says, what if we do this? What if we put a microphone on the outside of a speaker, take the noise coming in, and then reverse phase cancel it and mix that with the signal coming out of your headphones, and that way magically the outside noise will disappear. I would have said, yeah, look at this. On paper, it looks fine. There's your sine waves and blah, blah, blah. But make it happen in real life. Give me a break. It's just too complex. The circular sound is coming in from different directions. How are you going to phase cancel that all? Sound from the left is also still going in the right earphone. Give me a break. The manager would have said to those boys, forget it. You'll never make it work. So, but they've done it. They've done it, you know. I started to get a bit too much liquid on those last few strokes because I put the heavier paper at the front of the stack, the lighter paper at the back of the stack. Nine, 10. My God, I am way behind schedule. I am sorry. Whatever, we'll just keep it up. I know the stream will be here. I have to finish this, then move it next door and hang it up. So if you want to hang around, that's fine. But my apologies again. Those of you who come for the show and tell, there won't be a show and tell this morning. We're way behind time. Not sure what specifically there might be else to report about the trip. I know, as I said, mostly day after day I was just sitting in the nursing home, so I didn't get around Vancouver very much. I did get a couple of trips on the False Creek Ferry there. I know one day my daughter asked me, my younger daughter said, Dad, meet us at the Science Center for a couple of hours. We've got the grandchildren down there. So I did. I left my mom's apartment, which is Comox and Denman, and I walked over to Burrard Inlet, and I took the False Creek Ferry down to Science World, down to the end of False Creek. And that was a fun trip. There's little ferries that have been there for a long, long time. And that was a really nice trip. It was one of the first days I was there. And it was clear, beautiful, clear and cold weather. And I saw a seal, and I didn't know what it was. We're in that little ferry chugging along down False Creek to get to the end. And I was on the ferry by myself, just the driver there. She's reading a book. She's sitting on the ferry driver's post there with a paperback book because there's like nothing going on at all. False Creek is empty, and we're just chugging along. And I'm watching and geeking out and looking around what's going on. And just in front of the ferry at one point, a head pops out of the water, a little round head. Looks around left and right, sees us coming straight towards it, and then ducks down out of sight. So I asked the driver, what was that? What was that? Is that an otter? I thought maybe it was an otter. And she said, what was what? I said, there was a head. It popped out of the water right in front of us, like a little smooth round head. And she said, no, those are seals. There's seals all over the place in False Creek these days. So David saw his first seal in the wild a few days ago in Vancouver. And she went straight back to her book. No big deal to her. Yeah, whatever. You see one, you see them all. But yeah, there they are. There's seals in the harbor there. To me, that was kind of neat, I had my camera, but I didn't get fast enough. Just they popped out of the water, looked around, and then ducked down. It was all over in a couple of seconds. That day we spent at the Science Center, you know, it's there in Vancouver. I think it's left over from the Expo 86 or something that was there. I don't remember. It's been there for a long, long, long time. It's one of these places that's sort of a science exploring thing for kids. And I have really, really mixed feelings about this. I met her there outside. We go inside. They have a season's pass because my younger daughter takes the little kids in there all the time. And we went in there, and I gotta say, I thought it was just chaos, just crazy chaos. They've got exhibits. Now, in the old days, museum exhibits is like a glass case and you look inside something and wow, that's cool, and you walk along and glass cases full of stuff. It's sort of meaningless. These days, these science exhibits there's a thing, a title, there's stuff, and there's some buttons to press and lights flash and a beam tilts. And you know how this works. It's a science museum. A science center. So there's hundreds of these things. There's water splashing, a ball rolling, a thing. You put a ball in, it pops it out, you change the dials. There's sort of interactive exhibits all over the place. And it seems really cool. If you had explained this idea to me, this concept, I would have thought, yeah, that's cool. They didn't have this sort of stuff when I was a kid or when I had my own kids, but now it's a big deal. But it seems like a total chaos, waste of time. We were there and kids are running around, even my own grandchildren. They run up to something. Where's the button? Where's the button? Slap, slap, slap the button. Something moves, the ball moves, something tilts. They run to the next one. And nobody in the building got any sense of like, what did we supposed to learn from that thing? It's just slap the button, run and line up and push the kid out of the way. It was absolute freaking noisy chaos. And I don't know, grumble, 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 get off my lawn. I don't know. I think what maybe looked really good on paper, or what might seem like such a good idea, or in a lab, or in a classroom, or on a one-to-one basis, the kid would look at this and try it and learn something, and then look at it and try it again and experiment and do something. And after 10 minutes, the kid would walk away. He would understand how the concept of a lever and the balance points worked and stuff like this. But nobody learned anything. It was just push the button and make noise and push the button and make noise. The kids came out of it hyper. Grumble, 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 grumble. So I don't know about this stuff. Maybe simply there were too many kids there, or just the concept. I don't know. It's an honest question. Does this stuff make any sense? I sure wouldn't want to think about going back to a museum as a stuff full of glass cases and there's a dead seal in there or something like this, you know, whatever. But I don't think anybody learned anything. This idea of a science museum to explore the world or whatever. I don't think anybody that I saw learned anything. Except how to move faster, how to run faster, how to punch buttons faster, how to get in line before the next kid could grab your space, you know. Maybe I was there with the wrong age kids. As I said, my younger two grandchildren, they're now, it's 7 and 4. So maybe they're the wrong age. Maybe teenagers would sit with this stuff and look a bit more carefully at it. I don't know. I really don't know. So very mixed feelings. I spent the couple of hours with them there, but I sure didn't have any fun. And there was one place, there was a sort of quieter corner there. It was, I think they called it a puzzle corner. I'm not sure. Ooh, too much liquid. Dave, pay attention to what you're doing. there was sort of a quiet corner, puzzle corner, a bunch of tables, low tables that little kids could sit at, a bunch of stools around them. And each table had on it 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. They were sort of puzzles, puzzle corner. You know, a little metal thing put together and you had to figure out how to take it apart and put it back together. One of those puzzles with knots and metal things and a cord. You had to undo the loop and take it apart and put it back together. And these were all attached to the tables. And kids would come running up there, look at it, just run away. No, not for me, not for me. They'd run up, look at it, and run away. So I'm just trying to get away from the chaos and the noise. So we found ourselves, me and my daughter and the 2 kids, we just got in there just to escape the noise. We sit down at one of these tables, and these things were not all that complicated. I sit down at the first one. There's a loop where you've got to feed the cord over a loop and take it off, and now you've separated the 2 parts, and you put it back together. So I kind of know how this works, whatever. So I do this. I take it apart. My granddaughter, how'd you do that? So we have a chance for a learning moment. So I said, watch. And I put it back together. Look, 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 look. There you go. 1 step, 2 steps. She grabs it, tries. No, she runs away to the next thing. I mean, this is my granddaughter. She's supposed to have my genes. She's supposed to be interested in puzzles and smart and whatever. But they can't sit still, any of them, for more than a split second, you know. Grumble, 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 grumble. And I got to add this too. You know, my daughter was sitting there, and I'm looking at her, and she says, Dad, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. She's okay. She's okay. And maybe I was thinking, or maybe you're thinking, yeah, this kid watches too much TV, spends too much time on her phone, or she's got the iPad, whatever. And in my daughter's house, there are no iPads. There's no phones for the kids. This kid's 7-year-old. She has no phone, no iPad, and they don't watch TV. The kid went to a preschool for years, now is in elementary school. So as far as I can see, this is not some family where the kids are parked in front of a TV for 6 hours a day. They're trying to be aware of this and to avoid that stuff. And during the time I was in her house, the kid and her, 7 and 4, my granddaughter and her brother, they spent most of their time in their room building like a fort with cushions from the couch and stuff like that, and laughing and doing stuff. So they seemed to be doing like kiddie type stuff that I used to do. But yet still, once you got them in the science center, boom, 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 run around, run around, run around. So if I were a parent right now today with kids like that myself, David's just hit and run. He goes there and he plays with the kids and leaves. But if I were a parent with kids today like that, I have no idea what I would do or how I would try and encourage the things that I would like to see kids doing, I gotta be careful. I'm putting too much liquid on this, It might be because I'm going slow. And these have been sitting here for a bit too long. Okay, we're coming to the end of this. There's a few sheets left, 5 or 6 sheets left. Then we'll get into the next room and hang these up. We're almost there. Patience, please. We're almost there. Sorry if it's been a bit of a long, slow stream today. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Me too. I've lost my feel for like where we are in the time and how long things take and stuff. So excuse me. Oh, I'm hungry, hungry, hungry too. It's all mixed up, jet lag. Don't know what time it is. It's 9:30 here, which means what? 4:30 in the afternoon. It's getting on for dinner time in Canada. So. There are 2 sheets left. Okay, here's the last sheet. Next step is going to be hanging up in the next room. Okay. No time to clean the brush before we do the hanging, so just for the moment, the brush just gets wrapped up a bit. I'll wash it, of course, after we do the hanging up. Okay, pad can go off. Let's move to the next room. You know how this is going to work. Those of you who don't know, just relax for a minute. We're going to power down the computer because I'm not taking the power through. That can stay here. Step 1, I need to move the camera through to the next room. So I'm going to shut down the main camera view. Here it goes down. And now I think I can unplug the main camera without crashing the stream. Let's try this. I'm going to unplug the camera. Yes. Okay, camera going through. I'll be back in a minute. Did it go down? Did it crash? Nanda. I should actually perhaps, rig up a second camera so we can keep a camera in this room ready to go and just switch back and forth between them. Okay, camera is plugged in, ready to go. Next step, let's move the computer through. Now, it seems we have a slight problem. I just discovered a moment ago. The lighting in this middle room here is different from when I was here a couple of weeks ago. One of the bulbs in the overhead fixture seems to be run out. Let's pop the MacBook in place. Let's go get the paper. Oh, what have they done? bunch of junk here we don't need. Okay, plug in the camera. Turn the camera back on. There we are. Embiggen the font size on the chat settings, chat appearance, font size. It says font size. That's not really. Okay, there we go. Up and running. Here we go. Right, we have 25 pairs. I don't know how long this is going to take us. Here's the routine. Flip one. So the two sheets on top are now back to back because the sheets are all face down. Top two are now back to back. Peel them off. We don't need all 3 clips. 2 clips will be enough. Just at the end, and up they go to get dried. One down, 24 to go. I had to bigify the text. What did I say? I'm sorry. Did I misuse language there? I don't remember what I said. I think we've got pretty good coverage of the liquid on this paper. This last group, these are the thinnest sheets in the batch. They may have picked up a bit more than I intended. They're a bit wet. But then again, that's what I wanted back at the beginning. Remember I said I wanted to move that brush a bit more slowly so that we could get tapuri, a good solid coverage. And that's what we've got for sure. So I can't complain. I got what I wanted. I got full deep coverage. And of course the problem with this, changing a little bit of a way you do it, is that feedback from the printers won't be coming for many, many weeks. The paper that I've sized today, we don't even have a printer assigned to this job yet. It'll be going out for printing later this week. And by the time the printing is all done, that'll be 2 weeks later. So it'll be 3 weeks before I get feedback on the work that I have done today. It may be me doing the printing, I'm not sure. Because these sheets are a little bit on the thin side, the batch we're using today, and because we put a fair amount of liquid on them, they're a little bit harder to tease apart. You're seeing now, it's taking me a bit longer. I normally just grab these things, grab off a pair and put them, hang them up. But it's taking me longer to tease them apart because they're so wet. What print is this paper for? Somebody's asking. These are for the candy store. The Dagashiya, the candy store print. The blocks are now, they're supposed to come back to me from our carver, Kawasaki-san, in Kobe. The blocks are supposed to come back to me sometime late this week. We will then start test printing. And of course, if there's no problems, if things look good, we'll start the main edition. You saw me doing color separation work on this one. It'll be print number 4. This is the April print, the candy store. Someone said 6 and 7. That's the paper that Murata-san is making now. She's making a new batch of paper over the current few weeks. She's already boiled it. She's picked the bark and she's now started rocking some of it. That'll be the paper for, I think we're okay for 5. That'll be the paper for 6 and 7 that she's making now. And perhaps 6 and 7 and beyond. So, but this one, this is print number 4. The one we're doing today here. The April print. And talking about Murata-san with making the paper, we now have in the camera, in the can, whatever the expression is, we have now all the footage we need for me to prepare the next video in that series, Adventures in Washi Part 3. Sadako went up to Echizen while I was in Canada, and she took footage of Murata-san picking bark, doing the chiri tori. So all the footage is in the cameras now. When I'm exactly going to find time to prepare that video production, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. A full good video, maybe it'll be about an hour long, showing every step in the making of one of these sheets of paper. So Dave will do voiceover. Of course, I will introduce the video. I will talk about it. And Murata-san herself, we will be simply showing Murata-san making paper. She's not going to narrate it. If I had 3 or 4 days for nothing else, we could do it right now this week, but there's just too much other work to do. Also, something else I can tease you. You can't join in this, but there's something else happening for me tonight. The couple, Cecile and Olivier, the couple who make up Atelier Sento, they have been in Japan for a few weeks. They'll be here for another week or so yet, and they're coming over tonight. After the shop closes, Cecile and Olivier are coming over and we're going out for dinner. So I have a chance to sit and talk with them, talk over some of the plans for the prints for the rest of this year, and maybe talk about some future plans. Who knows? So dinner with the artists tonight for me. That's 2 sheets. Just one, Dave. Just one. Yeah, I won't go in bare feet. Oh, did Tansa make a post on Instagram? Good, good. They were here while I was in Canada. They came over for a couple of sessions, I believe, to watch Aimi-san, one of our printers, at work. We really want them to try and get a good feel for how our water-based printing works, you know. That's one of the things I'll be talking to them about tonight. Is somebody counting? I don't know. We're past halfway here. Save the receipt. Yes, of course it'll be a business expense. I mean, of course, no problem. We should be able to afford to take care of our designers a little bit. How much sleep? I get about 8. And right now I'm jet lagged because I came back from Canada. Normally I'm in bed by 10 and I'm up at 6. Is a typical day for me. If I'm tired in the evenings, I'm an old guy, so if I go to bed at 9:30, I'd then be up at 5:30. But for me, a normal, typical night's rest is 10 till 6. It's difficult to tease these apart. They're a little bit wet, wetter than normal, wetter than what I've been doing typically. So we got them. There we go. Making it to Denny's for breakfast. John, what are you talking about? I don't eat breakfast. But awake at 6. Quick trip upstairs to the 3rd floor here to see if there's any paper that needs to come out. So that gets me up and active. So up at 6. So of course, bathroom and then check the paper. And then I chill for a half an hour or so. I got to get to the pool by 6:50. I mean, I leave at 6:50 to go to the pool, get there by 7. So that half hour from 6:30 or so is a relaxed time. Looking at a bit of email, just waking up slowly. And then pool at 7, bang, get going. And that's it for the rest of the day. Go, 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 go. I'm a little bit afraid when we get to the end we'll have 1 sheet left over because some of these are thin. And it's possible I might have hung up 3 together partway along. It's difficult to tease them apart. How's our time? 9:48. We are way over time. The staff must be downstairs getting the shop open by now, ready for the 10 o'clock opening. There's nobody in the office today because it's a holiday. But the shop, of course, is open normally. They're probably watching this. Are you watching, Udagawa-san? To see when I'm coming downstairs. Ah, that's what I've done. There's one left. I have officially screwed this up. One of these packs hanging up there has 3 sheets. Oh, look at this. Official screw up live on camera. There's only one left. So somewhere up there are 3 sheets. Can I find them quickly? I don't think so. They're going to be stuck together. That looks like 2. That's 2. It's no big tragedy. They will dry. That looks like 2. This one looks a bit thick. What about this one? Yeah, here they are. Found it. Found it. Look at this one. This one has 3. You let me down. You're the guys that are supposed to catch my mistakes. There it is, 3 sheets. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. Now I don't know which is front and which is back, but it doesn't matter. It'll be okay. Saru mo ki kara uchiru. Okay, looking good, looking good, looking good. Okay, gang, thanks very much. It's a bit of a strange stream today. We went a bit too long. Let's pull this up. Okay, thank you very much. It's now nearly 10 o'clock. Still glue on the board here. Now I need to wash my jeans. Okay. Okay, thanks so much. Normal schedule now. I'll be back on my, get rid of my jet lag. The next stream will be Thursday. I'm not quite sure what it will be. I really, really, really do not want to do another sizing stream for you come next Thursday. Hopefully, if I can swing it, I'll be back down at my carving bench on the first floor. But I'm really not sure. It could also be that I can get out to Ome this week. So Thursday might be a light Ome stream as well. It's still too early for me to tell what the workload is going to be like during the rest of this week. So I think now I just better sign off. I got to get downstairs. I have a ton of catch-up paperwork to do. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for following around. And I'll see you in a few more days on Thursday. Here or there, I'm not quite sure. Let's just sign it off. We don't need to go down the matrix or whatever it is today. Let's just sign off. Thanks for joining me. I'm happy to be back in harness, enjoying my job, and see you in a couple of days. Bye for now. 3, 2, 1, down we go.